Hello everybody, and welcome to another WIP and Chat from Dragonwing Diamonds. Right now I am working on Black Cat by Candlelight, which is this beauty right here. Diamond Art Club came out 2 Saturdays ago, and I just had to have this one. Literally sold out in 2 minutes, and my heart was racing the entire time I was going through that checkout, because I was like, oh gosh, I hope I get it, and I was gonna be so upset if I didn't. So here it is. I started about 2 days ago, and I've almost completed this entire row, just these 2 sections to go. 2 quick things before we get started here today. First off, I did get a request from one of my viewers to put together a little, beginning diamond painting tutorial video. I will be putting that together hopefully next week, but next week we have the boys, and we are on their first week of summer vacation, so if I can squeeze it in, I definitely will. It's harder for me to film at night over here because my little corner gets very dark at night. Working on getting a lamp for over here so that way I can do more films at night when the boys are asleep as well. Second off, honestly, with these kind of things, it's so important to have a very good support system. And for me, I have to say I am just always so overjoyed by my support system. I know I have at least 2 of my friends who regularly watch my videos, and I know my mom also has been regularly watching. And so when I posted my first WIP and Chat, she was asking me about a painting that she thought I was talking about. But that's what I told her. I told her that, yeah, it was a prima donna, which is going to be shipping out here soon. So I do have that one coming. And so I was telling her more about the container that I was, hoping to get. And I sent her the link on Amazon, and quite literally she texted me that day and said, okay, it's on its way. It should be there on Saturday. Well, much to my surprise, actually it showed up yesterday. So let's see. So here she is in all of her glory. I've removed the colors that we'll be working with here today. But this case, this is the one I've always wanted. I love the fact that they have just different sizes for everything. This one can fit at least 3 or 4 of the bigger bags of drills, so it's great for your 310s. These ones fit about 3 bags. These ones fit about 2, and then these are for your small little tiny ones. So, thank you again, Mom. Sorry about that. So yeah, thank you again, Mom. I very much appreciate it. I love my container. And let's get this straightened back out. There we go. And thank you to my friends, and then of course my boyfriend, who has been super supportive as well. He actually helped me edit my time-lapse video and get the music added to it, so shout out to him as well. Okay, so now that it's over, let's start the WIP and Chat. So let's see. I was hoping to get to a section that wasn't as much color blocking, but it looks like that's a lot of these sections. So for my viewers that aren't as savvy in diamond painting, color blocking is these giant, huge sections of one color. And then the other term that you'll probably hear often is confetti. Which right here with the arrows and the V's, that's considered confetti, where you're basically doing every other one. Okay, still getting used to pouring from these containers, but I absolutely love them, and they've just made such a big difference already. I love having just one container per color. Okay, and we begin. So I hope everybody's weeks are going well. Mine has been pretty quiet because, as I've already said, we haven't had the boys this week, so generally our weeks are a little bit more quiet when they are with their mother. One thing I will touch on, we do have crazy cats, for sure. So the other night, my boyfriend and I were having Brinner for dinner, which is our breakfast for dinner, and we made up some scrambled eggs, hash browns, some bacon. So we left the leftover bacon on the table, or not the table, on the counter in the kitchen. And then I'm sitting there because me and my boyfriend, we make sure that we eat meals together. So when the boys are here, we're always eating at the table. When it's just me and him, we set up tray tables in the living room and watch a show while we eat. So we're always having our meals together. So we're sitting there watching our show, and then all of a sudden I hear the sound of little kitty feet landing on the floor from the countertop. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And then I hear a crunch. So I go in there, and lo and behold, Shadow is standing on the ground with a piece of bacon in his hand, munching at it. And then, of course, as soon as I started walking towards him, he munched a little bit faster in hopes to finish it before I grabbed it from him. So he got in trouble. I told him to go upstairs. He ran upstairs, and yeah. Crazy animals, I have to say. But you gotta love them. Today we're planning kitty spa day. We've already cut LV's nails because he keeps getting caught on stuff. And he's got one nail that grows like super long, so we took care of that for him. I think there's a bird on my air conditioner. Yep, there's a bird on my air conditioner. Hi, little guy. I wish I could have tilted the video for that because that was hilarious. So yeah, LV, he's got one claw that gets really long, so we cut that back significantly today, trying to avoid his little quick on top of it as well. So his nails are good, and later on we gotta corner all the rest and get them taken care of. They were very disappointed when we only gave LV treats because he was the only one who got his nails cut that time. So, one other thing. So, on my first video I did mention I was interested in cosplay, and one of my viewers commented on how they weren't sure how to break into the cosplay world. So I figured I can touch on that a little bit as well. Honestly, I did not start cosplaying until after my friends Cassie and Angel started cosplaying. And then I followed suit after that. Me and Cassie, well actually me and Angel and me and Cassie have done cosplays together. Angel and I are the twosome Harleys that tend to go around together. So she's got a Harley Quinn that she's done, and then of course my Harley Quinn. And it's always fun causing trouble and stuff. And then Cassie and I have done Yuna and Len from the Final Fantasy X game together. Cassie completely made the outfits and did an awesome job for her first sewing project, especially since she was working with no pattern. So, yeah. So, breaking into the cosplay world. Basically, I mean, we all have our first cosplay that we're not proud of. I'll be nice because Angel said it's the cosplay that we don't talk about anymore, so I won't tell unless she gives me permission to. But my first cosplay was a Team Magma Grunt. And for people who haven't played the Pokemon games, they are the evil organization in the game, but these guys weren't exactly evil per se, in my opinion. All they wanted was more landmass for the people, so there's more homes. But in order to do that, they wanted to shrink the oceans, which, you know, was that's the part that wasn't as good. And then they have their counterparts, which is Team Aqua. So I made a Team Magma Grunt from the original Ruby game. And quite literally, the outfit is a black dress, a poncho, and arm and leg warmers. That's literally all it was. And what I did was I took a hoodie. I cut the arms off the hoodie. Well, I cut it into a poncho, basically, because I do have a little hood with little horns on it. So I crafted the horns out of black fabric. I stuffed them with... I don't remember what I actually stuffed them with. I know I didn't have any, like, cotton or anything, so I feel like I just stuffed them with regular fabric. And then I also crafted this symbol, which is like a, kind of like an M for magma. Okay, that one's done. Moving on to the next. We'll go with this one, since it's right there. Oh, there's not that. So yeah, I mean, it was very easy. You just pick something that you like, And it doesn't matter if you completely sew the entire first outfit or not. It's just about, these ones are really staticky. It's just about how, like, what you want to do, and it could be something as simple as going to Goodwill and buying a dress and turning that into your costume. Like, it's very easy to get into. So I know we enjoy it a lot, and we are all looking so forward to the convention season coming back. I do have a couple that I'm planning to go to in August and September, so, and then one in October, so pretty excited about that being back. Ooh. Managed to get all three. Huh. I'm starting to learn how to use these containers. Yeah, back to like the whole support thing especially, my mom, amazing woman. She has literally supported everything that I've done, even on down to, hey, I'm going to study theater in college. She did tell me to take a bookkeeping class, and I do wish I listened to her on that one, so. But it's, but yeah, I mean, I think my life turned out pretty okay for not really having a degree I'm using. But when I first said that I was going to start cosplaying more, I wanted to learn to sew, get a sewing machine. Like, my mom, she's been sewing for years, like my entire life plus some. And I was like, when I told her that I wanted to learn to sew for my cosplay, we got a pattern to make a pair of PJ pants, I think it was. And she taught me how to sew on her machine. And then for Christmas one year, she got me my own sewing machine, which still best Christmas present ever. I use that thing quite a bit. I'm still learning how to use it, like little bits, like learning different stitches and stuff on it, but I think I'm doing pretty okay with it at this point. I've done some very intricate sewing with it with my current costume I'm working on, because there's flames on the pants that I'm working on with a black outline, because, you know, it's an anime drawn thing, so there's a lot of black outlines. And so I've been using bias tape and sewing that in a flame pattern, and it's definitely the hardest thing I've ever done on my sewing machine, I will say that much. When I said I wanted to start cross-stitching, she got me my first pattern book. It was like a book of bookmarks, and she got me the stuff I needed to make at least 2 of them at the time, I believe. And I was basically self-taught for cross-stitching, because Mom said that wasn't one of her best things, or like one of her best crafts that she knows how to do, so I'm more self-taught on that. But just, it's always great having support and knowing that your parents are there, support, like, happy to watch you do the things you do. So, once again, thank you, Mom. You are literally the best. Let's see, what color are we gonna go with next? Probably fill in all the other colors before I start in on the big spouts of red. Okay. I also apologize if you guys are hearing the construction noises going on outside. So I mentioned before that I live near a lake. And when I say I live near a lake, literally I look out my front window, across the street there's neighbors' houses, and then beyond that is the lake. So my road is a dead-end road right on the lake, which is really, it's beautiful out here. But right now they are going through a project where they are making our storm drains a little bit bigger. So a few years ago, it's been a few years now at this point, the lake out here had some serious flooding. Like, we had a really bad winter, we had rain, like a completely rainy spring right afterwards, so there was a lot of flooding, and the lake was like, it was like taking out, or it was like hurting businesses out by the lakes and, or out down by the bay and stuff like that. It was just rough. And so from what I was told, this area flooded during that portion as well. So now they're coming in and replacing all these storm drains. They started in May, and this is supposed to go through until September. And so today it's been a lot of beeping trucks. They've been carrying pipes to each end of the road. They've been cleaning out the sewers. We actually had to look up the truck because it was like a vacuum truck. I don't even know what it was called anymore. We just looked up the truck name because at first we seemed like they were drilling holes, but they were actually vacuuming out the sewers, which it was about a month ago. It was like 7:26 in the morning, and I remember this time very specifically because I was so angry. They were out front and they started running this vacuum truck, and I don't know if you've ever heard these trucks before, but they are so loud. Like, woke me and my boyfriend out of a dead sleep loud. And, like, you know, I don't like being woken up, so, you know, I'm already hostile. Like, waking up, like, what is that? Oh my gosh. And so we're looking outside, and this truck is out there doing this thing, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now? There was a week we had the boys. They were actually sleeping in for once, which is, anybody with kids knows, like, anytime they sleep in, it's heavenly. And it was a school day too, so. But my alarm was set to go off at 7:30 to wake them up for school. And this truck woke us up beforehand. Thankfully, it didn't wake up the boys, but oh my gosh, like, I was upset. My boyfriend got nauseous because he sat up so quickly. And it's like, they came up, they did that one pipe, and then they left. And I'm like, what was the point of that? Why did you have to do that right then and there? Only to behold that they come back and they redid that pipe this morning, I think it was. They've been doing this for like 2 days now with the vacuums. And just like, construction. Gotta love it. Definitely one of the jokes out here is that summer is construction season. And now I get to have it right out in front of my door. But hopefully they get this project done relatively quick. I know, like, a lot of our neighbors, like, we have a Facebook group and everything for our neighborhood. A lot of our neighbors are upset about it, but in the long run, it's going to help prevent flooding. So what can you do? Would much rather not have my basement flood. So, for my non-diamond painter viewers, because like I said, I do have my couple of friends who watch this. This method that I have been diamond painting with is called the checkerboard method. It's so good at making sure that your squares stay pretty straight. Nice thing about square diamond paintings is that eventually everything will shift into place the more you get put on the painting. So let's do C. Oops. And there's proof of me still getting used to these containers, but it's okay. There's big color blocks of this, so might actually use it all. I am just loving the colors that are in this. Like these teals up here. Up here there's some blues and reds. I don't know if you can actually see that. Nope, you can't. But yeah. And so far I've used some of my ABs. So the coral ABs were used at the top of the book here. So you know how books have those fancy lettering and stuff at the start of a chapter? That's what the ABs are on right now. So it looks pretty awesome. Let's see. Gotta think about... Yeah, unfortunately my week has been pretty uneventful. I've been kind of going through, and like I have a bunch of diamond painters I'm subscribed to, so I've been listening to a bunch of WIP and chats, trying to get ideas, see what other people do. You know, just trying to learn what direction I want this channel to go in. Not sure what it's going to be like going, like, I don't have any plan or anything for it, which is kind of nice because then I can kind of make it up as I go. I will try to post at least a video a week, but like I said, when I have the kids, it gets a little harder, because when you ask them to please stay downstairs while I work on something, they don't listen and come upstairs and ask you 20 questions. And they used to do that all the time when I was on the phones, because I worked in a call center for a little bit, and I explained to the boys, like, hey, I have to be on phones this week, so we need you to stay downstairs. And they just never listen. Always come upstairs and ask questions, and I think I had like one time where a customer was like, oh, is that a kid? And I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. So I will do what I can, but it gets a little trickier when they're here. But the time with them is absolutely precious, and they're just amazing kids. I absolutely love them. And I just can't imagine my life without them anymore. My oldest had another baseball game yesterday, because we do that Monday and Wednesdays. And he won his game again last night, so his team is doing pretty good. I think they have more wins under their belt than losses, which is amazing for kids who usually don't pay much attention. Oops, that's got a tag on it, don't want that one. Yeah, he gets out in the outfield and he starts looking down at the ground, kicking grass, and then he hears the ping of the ball getting hit, and then he's like spinning around in circles trying to find out where it went. So, trying to knock it into his head a little bit that he's got to pay attention, but it's hard. I get it. Like, he's got ADHD, so it's hard for him to pay attention sometimes. I am just in love with this canvas. Like, I know I just started it, but it's just so many colors. There's so many colors that not all of them fit in my new container, so I do still have some of them in the Tic Tac containers. Sorry, my boyfriend's an avid TikTok watcher, so but yeah, I keep some of them in the Tic Tac containers, just the single ones that don't have a lot of drills in them. I reserved the bigger containers for all my extras. I went from like 10 or 12 bags of extra drills to only like maybe 6 or 7 over there. So these bigger containers have been making all the difference, and I'm just so excited. I like those little Tic Tac containers. They're nice for the smaller kits, but ever since I started doing the big Diamond Art Club kits, they just don't really work so well for me anymore. So it was time to upgrade, and I'm so thankful that my mom got those for me. I don't think I can like say it enough, honestly. So, once again, you think of a bunch of things to talk about when you're not on camera, and then as soon as it starts recording, it's like, oh, what do I talk about? Oh, this is funny. So, like I said, I've been watching a bunch of other diamond painters, and I want to say it was Diamonds and Washi I was watching. And she had mentioned something about, like, having stage fright in front of your significant others. And, like, I thought it was just me, honestly. Like, I'm getting ready to, like, film stuff. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this YouTube channel. And then I start filming when my boyfriend's in the office, or not home and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I must be just weird because, you know, like, I talk to him all the time. It's not like I mind him hearing what I'm saying here, because, like, it's totally open for him to see and hear as well. But I get stage fright in front of him, and I don't get it. Like, currently, he is sitting behind me, but he's got headphones in, so he can't hear me. yeah, I thought it was funny because she was talking about solidarity with other creators too, and it's like, wow, okay, so it's not just me, and I feel a lot better about it. And I was talking to him about it yesterday, and he's like, oh, if you ever want to film, just let me know, I'll just play music or play a game or something. I'm like, I know. So today, instead of doing this while he was in the office, he's watching some sort of announcement event, and I'm filming. He's also finishing up work too, because he only does half days in the office on the Mondays and Thursdays. Man, my life is kind of boring this week. I don't really have much to say. Let's see. Think about something. Oh, so I can talk more about my kitties. They are just a ridiculous little bunch here. So we have our door open for the cats to come in at night because, you know, my two, they freak out when it comes to closed doors. Like, the other day I was in the bathroom and, like, I pushed the door closed so it wasn't completely latched shut. And Pippa, she stepped in the bathroom with me. And so, oh, this one's really full. There we go. And so, you know, she's doing the thing that all cats do, looking around, meowing. She does what we call the swivel head, where she'll, like, put her paws up on the wall and then turn her head around and look behind her and stuff. And I was just laughing, because I'm like, hey, you know the door is open, and she's sitting there freaking out like she can't get out of the bathroom. And then Jonesy decided to peek his head in, so he pushed the door open, and then she looked at it like, oh my gosh, the door's open. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you. And then she stopped and was like, started growling because Jonesy was on the other side of the door, and he tends to try to play with her, and she doesn't want to play with him, so yeah. But in the morning, like, we have doors open, so, and the cats sleep with us, and in the morning, it's always ridiculous, because you never know how you're going to wake up. Sometimes Elvie's up, curled up against me, and Shadow's on the other side. Sometimes they're all at the bottom of the bed. Like, it's hard to say. So, lately, their thing has been, Jonesy's been sleeping between me and my boyfriend. So, we wake up, and there's a curled up kitten between us. And then Shadow sleeps on the other side of me. And then Elvie takes turns sleeping down by either my feet or my boyfriend's feet. Sometimes he'll come up and steal Shadow's spot because he's a major cuddler. Like, he will plop against you and then he won't move for hours. So, but for the most part, he stays at the bottom of the bed, especially now that it's warm. I don't think he likes the heat as much, so. And our room does get pretty warm in the summer. But it's always an adventure with these cats. Actually, last night, I can't remember what time it was, but I laid down to, like, stretch my back out and stuff, because, you know, sitting up at a table like this hurts after a while. But I was laying down, and Elvie, he was laying at the bottom of the bed, and then he waddled his way up, and then he plopped down on me and just started purring, because he's the cat that as soon as he has human contact, he starts purring. Just what he does. And, you know, I fall asleep with him. Like, I will wrap my arms around him, and he'll just sit there and purr, and the next thing you know, I'm asleep, and he's asleep, and I'm pretty sure my boyfriend has a lot of pictures of me sleeping with this cat. When I was sick a few weeks ago, back when I was working on the Head That Wears the Crown, I had the best nursed kitties around because I think at every point I had at least one cat by my side, snuggling me, making me feel better. And a little random fact about cats is when they lay on you and they purr, it means they are trying to help boost your immune system to help you feel better. So at one point, I think I had 3 cats laying against me purring, so they were trying. That cold was still a doozy though, but I'm glad it's done and over, and now I can enter allergies, which I think are starting to kick in a little bit. I was down in my dining room a couple days ago and I sneezed like 5 times in a row. Actually, it was when I was sectioning this off. And I'm like, man, why do I keep sneezing? So, yeah. Gotta love allergy season. Although once the cottonwood's done flying around, I can rest easy because that's the pollen that I'm actually allergic to. Figured that one out a couple years ago because like clockwork, as soon as those little cottony things started flying around, that's when I started sneezing and getting allergies, so. Come on. Oh, here's a fun little question. What do you do with your trash drills? Mine all go into this cute little jar that I have. It was a wedding favor from a couple years ago, and I found it sitting in my craft room. I'm like, hey, that would be perfect for trash drills. So it's kind of gotten adopted into that. Also, this kit takes up so much of my desk that I've kind of had to adjust things. I did not grab H out. Here we go. I kind of had to adjust some things around so that way I could fit everything. I like this desk because it makes it so I have my computer set up and I have a nice little craft space, but these bigger kits, they're huge. It's hard to fit everything. Excuse me. So I've been thinking about what kind of stuff I want to put together for that tutorial. So like I've never done a tutorial before, so this will be very interesting. It'll be a fun project for me to take on. I'm really looking forward to it, so thank you, Cassie, for suggesting that. Plus it's a good way for those who aren't quite sure about diamond painting and want to take a little dive in on it. I think it'll be good for them. So I'm thinking about like the kits that I can drag out, because I have a bunch over there. So yeah, any of my viewers that have been diamond painting for a while and can think of something good to include in my tutorial, please let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure I include it. Like I said, I have some ideas brewing, but I'm sure there's going to be stuff that I'm going to miss, because nobody's perfect. Okay, I also didn't get 3 out. There it is. So excited for summer. Get to spend a little bit extra time with the kids. We're planning a trip down to my boyfriend's family's cottage down in the southern tier, so we're looking forward to that. My oldest, he just loves to fish, so he can't wait to go fishing with his dad. They're so cute. Usually, or what happened before, because we went down in October, so Alex and his dad went fishing, and then me and Drake just kind of like hung out. And I watched him run around while I sat on a bench. It was very cold, but Alex was super happy. And, you know, it was October, and it gets, like, where I live in the East Coast, so it gets very cold very quickly. So we're like, oh, the fish aren't gonna be active right now, so you may not catch one, but it's okay, because, I mean, at least you're trying. And so we're like, okay, you got one more cast off, and then we gotta go back and warm up. And then on that last cast, he grabbed a bass out of the little pond there, so he was really excited about that, and got a good picture of him and his fish, and it was a really great time. So I'm looking forward to going back. We're trying to plan a trip with my boyfriend's parents as well, see if they'll come down with us. That'll be fun, because then, like, me and his mom can color and read books and relax, and his dad and my boyfriend can run around with the boys, and I think it'll be fun. So hopefully we will get that going here, probably sometime in July. When I do go, though, I will not have access to any internet whatsoever, because it's literally in the middle of nowhere, so I will be radio silent for those few days. But that's okay, because at least, you know, I am spending time with my loved ones. Let me see a couple 9s I missed. Definitely a lot of colors I have not worked with on square before, so this is really awesome. So far I've only done 2 square paintings. It was A King's Path by Diamond Art Club, and then the second one was The Beauty, which is that first whip and chat that you saw with me. I was working on The Beauty. That one turned out absolutely beautiful. If you want to see it, definitely pop on over to my Instagram. I will post a link in the description of this video. I realize I probably should have been doing that this whole time, but hey, this is a learning curve, so. So yeah, I'll get that posted. I do post regular updates over there, basically daily updates. The only day that I didn't post a daily update was when I laid down, realized I forgot to take a picture, and I wasn't getting back up. I was tired. Yeah, this week's been kind of weird. Like, I don't know why, but yesterday I just got hit with a huge wave of fatigue. It came out of nowhere. Like, usually I can pinpoint where it comes from, but I don't even know. Like, I do suffer from depression a little bit and some anxiety, and usually that's my normal cause of it, but I wasn't feeling that this week. Like, I've actually been feeling pretty relaxed. So, I don't know. It was random. It was confusing. And I don't like not knowing where it came from, you know? But I'm feeling better today, at least, so that's always a good thing. Ooh, I know what I was going to talk about. So the reason why I wanted this kit, I know I talked about it a little bit in my unboxing, but I know not everybody loves unboxings, so I'll just talk about it a little bit more again. So the reason why I wanted this painting so bad is because this cat in this painting looks identical to my black cat that I had at my dad's house, Lucky. So, like, my dad lived in a different state from my mom, and all my friends and family were in the same state as my mom. So whenever I went down to my dad's house, it was always rough. Oops. That's way too much. It was always rough because, you know, I was away from all my friends, all my family for an entire, like, since he lives, like, it was a 6-hour distance between my dad's and mom's house. So, you know, I missed my friends a lot, and so I'd go down every single school vacation, plus the entirety of summer break, and, you know, it gets pretty lonely when, I mean, I had a couple of friends down by my dad's house. I had my friend Krista for a while. Actually, I still talk to her, and then I had Ashley as well, who I also, oops, that's gonna tag on it, who I also still talk with. But other than that, like, I just had my dad. And it got pretty lonely and stuff. So one summer when I went down, we went to the local vet's office. I think they also had a pet rescue as well. And he showed me this adorable little black kitten, and he said, "This is your cat for here." And I'm like, "Oh, that's adorable. Like, she's adorable. I love her." And he's like, "Okay, what do you want to name her?" And originally I had said that I wanted to name her Midnight, because black cat with bright yellow eyes, like, she looked like the night with stars. So I wanted to name her Midnight, but it was actually Ashley who said this. She's like, "No, we gotta name her Lucky so that way we can nullify her bad luck." Or at the time it was like D bad luck her, because, you know, we were kids. And so, like, I gave in, so we named her Lucky. And she was a great cat. I mean, she was a butt. She was a brat. She didn't like being touched. She didn't like being held. Sometimes she let you pet her, but for the most part, she was a cat who kept to herself. But I kind of love that attitude about her. And she'd, like, always hiss at the other cats and stuff like that, so. I lost her back when I was still in college. I mean, she was pretty old by that point, but she had jaw cancer. And so she passed away actually she passed away I want to say about a year after my dad did. But yeah, so I miss that cat. She was amazing. And so when I saw this painting and I saw how much it looked like her, I was like, "Oh, I have to have this." And, like, I kept staring at it and I was like, "No, I shouldn't buy it because, you know, I don't have the funds. Like, I shouldn't do this." And then I was, like, talking to my boyfriend about it. I'm like, I really want this. And he's like, "Well, then get it." I'm like, "But I shouldn't." And he's like, "No, you should. It's okay to treat yourself." I'm like, "Okay." So I bought it. And I'm very thankful I did. Once again, super supportive boyfriend, and I'm so thankful for it. So yeah. And then I was thinking about it a little bit, because, you know, practicing these things in my head while I'm actually doing my diamond painting. I don't know if you other creators do that as well, but that's definitely something I do. I was thinking about it, and so I got that cat at my dad's house, and then I don't know how many years was in between this one, but there was one summer that I was coming back from my dad's house, and my mom said that I couldn't be dropped off until after a certain time. I feel like it was like after 3 or something like that. And so my dad said, "Okay." So, well, like, I think we got in town and then visited some family and stuff like that. And then he brought me back to my mom's house. And when I got there, my mom had this little white kitten waiting for me. She was so tiny and adorable, and she was pure white. And it kind of made me laugh that at one house I had a full black cat, and then at another house I had a full white cat. So I named the white cat Snowflake. And then it turns out that she was a flame point. And we're pretty sure that she was a full-bred Siamese as well. So, my pure white cat turned orange on me. So I had an orange and white cat named Snowflake who literally would hold a meow for 15 seconds. But she was a crazy cat, and she got into a lot of things, and my mom got so mad at her one day that she took her name away, so she became Little White Cat. But yeah. And now I think back, like, you know, what would have happened if I tried to bring Lucky home after my dad passed away? Like, I know, like, I heard the stories of what happened. So, my grandmother passed away a few years after my dad did. I think it was like 2 years after my dad passed away. And so after that, my mom took in her Blue Point rag doll. He was an old boy. His name was Blue, because he's Blue Point, because my grandma was very creative with her names. And my mom brought him home, let him out of the cage, or the cat carrier, not thinking about anything, and apparently Snowflake just lit into him. And that, like, when she told me that, I'm like, actually, I'm kind of not surprised about that, because, you know, Snowflake had been a single cat in a single cat household for her entire life. The last time that she was with a sibling was when she was in, like, with the Humane Society. So it wasn't surprising that she was, like, super territorial and attacked the new cat. But now I just kind of wonder what would have happened if I brought Lucky home. Like, I feel like that would have been a... Instead of Blue being all freaked out, Snowflake might have got her butt handed to her, because Lucky was a tough little thing. So, yeah, just random things I think about. But oh my gosh, Blue, he was the best cat. Like, my grandma, she hid him from us so bad. We didn't really realize how sweet and loving this kitty cat was until after he was in my mom's possession. Like, one day I went over there, and I'm used to the cat being, like, elusive. And, like, you come up, you pet him, and then he just, like, finds some place to sleep. Like, that's how he was. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, now Mom's got this cat, too. And I went over there. I sat on the couch, and Blue just plopped right down next to me, right up against me, kind of like Elvie does. And he just laid there and purred while I pet him. And I just kind of, like, looked at him. I'm like, you're not the same cat that I knew before. And, like, my mom is always saying, like, oh, Grandma was holding out on us. This cat is awesome. Unfortunately, he did pass away to old age a few years ago, but, you know, his memory is still always there. I'll never forget so I had my appendix out a few years ago, a surprise surgery that scared everybody in my family because it was so sudden. And it, like, I was in pretty bad shape, like, in the hospital for a few days, because apparently my family does not do general surgery pretty well. You know, we always end up with some sort of extra symptoms, like, my brother got his gallbladder out, and he was in the hospital for a few days. My mom got her gallbladder out, and she was in the hospital for a few days. She got her appendix out, was still in the hospital for a few days. But yeah, so when my appendix came out, I was in the hospital for 5 days. I got home just in time for the Easter weekend, it was that year. And so I still couldn't walk upstairs yet because, you know, abdominal surgery, incisions, it's rough. I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah, so I was laying on the couch, and of course, you know, Shadow and Peppa, they were at my mom's because that's where I was living at the time. Shadow and Peppa came up, and they're like, oh my god, you're home, I missed you so much. And Blue is like, oh good, you're home. And doesn't he get up on the back of the couch and jump down on my stomach, right on my incision? Thankfully he was a light cat, because if Shadow had done it, I would have been in a lot of pain. But thankfully Blue didn't weigh anything. And oh my gosh, I remember that day, because I was like, oh my god. So yeah. So that's my fun story of Blue. And, like, you know, I got a lot of great stories from him. Like, he was always just so proud of himself whenever he found a piece of paper on the floor. Like, it could just be, like, the smallest rip of piece of paper, and he'd be sitting on it and then looking all proud. I think I have a picture of him sitting on a paper bag, and the look on his face is just sheer joy. Like, this cat loved paper. And, like, actually my mom forgot about this fact, but my grandma used to rip little pieces of paper out of a notepad and crinkle them up and throw them for him, and he'd go, like, chasing after and play with them. So, like, there was one day my mom was crinkling up some paper in her office, and he came running in ready to play, and she's like, oh yeah, I forgot. And so she threw the paper, and, like, he went crazy and stuff. I just remember, like, Grandma's house, you'd move a piece of furniture, and there's just, like, a bunch of balled up pieces of paper underneath it that he was playing with. yeah, so he was a great cat. And I do miss him a lot, and I know my mom misses him a lot. She called him her little boyfriend because he was always there with her. I've definitely had a lot of amazing animals in my lifetime. And I'm probably going to have a lot more amazing animals because I don't think I can go so long without a cat. But that's just me. Okay, so we're about 50 minutes in, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Try to keep them under an hour. That seems to be the norm. So yeah, if you guys have any adorable kitten stories, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I always love hearing about other people's animals, and I love talking about my own. And probably next time we talk, I will have some kid stories under my belt too, because we'll have them back for the week. Also, just a reminder to you more skilled diamond painters, if you can think of anything that I should include in my tutorial for beginners, please let me know in the comments as well. Hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for spending time with me.